Good morning, guys. It's Beverly. We're on to day 6 of Advent. Okay? So the first thing, let's open up our package, our mystery package from Spin Right, the parent company of Yarnspirations. Now, I didn't cheat and open this, so there's going to be crinkling. Ooh, you guys. It's multicolor. Yeah, I guess that's acrylic. Yeah, it's acrylic. Now, we learned from previous ones that they have taped to the skein of the yarn. And I use the label. So I'm going to just keep going like this until I can pull it out a little ways. I'm sorry about crinkling. Packages mean crinkling. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, what is this? Caron Simply Soft. 20% more yarn. The colorway is Rose Garden. So it has pinks and rose and 2 shades of green. It's kind of pretty, you guys. I like it. Oh, and it's a hat pattern. I can't believe it. This is the hat pattern that I make all the time. The print on this is kind of really light, but it's the cluster hat. Let me pause the video and show you the hat. Okay, so this is the hat. If it's not the same exact pattern, it's very close. See how it has 2 double crochets together? They're calling that the cluster. You make the crown, and then you do the clusters. And then what I do is I do 2 rows of double and 1 row of reverse single crochet, or some people call it the crab stitch. Can you believe I got the pattern that I make every time I make a baby set? So this could be slightly different than this pattern, but it's like too funny. For me, it is. Anyway, such a nice coincidence. And this yarn will make a beautiful hat, you guys. I think it's great. I'm so happy with this. And, oh, we've got to do day 6 of the Red Heart Amigurumi. So here's our box, day 6. Well, see, I already did day 5. So let's turn this day 5 around. And day 6 is right here. Today we have to crochet. So today it is some yarn, of course, and stuffing and the hanger. And of course, I have to pull this to get it to come open. So we've got stuffing, and we have gold yarn and green yarn, okay? And day number 6 is the Christmas bell, you guys. The Christmas bell. So this should be easy. Hopefully it'll go quick. It is called the Bell Ornament. So it's a golden bell, gold, and then a green bow with your little tie on it. So that's good. So I look forward. Let's see. Oh, and it has a little face. So there's some black yarn in here. And so I look forward to making this. So just keep watching the video and you'll see me crochet the Christmas bell. Also, there'll be a link to this pattern below the video. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll be talking to you again in just a few minutes. Hi, guys. So I decided to crochet this ornament setting in my chair. It's a whole lot more comfortable for me. And if you've been watching this series by now, you know how to make the single crochets that we're using, and the single crochet 2 together that we're using, and the slip stitch. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a magic loop with the gold color. And it's just so much more comfortable for me because it takes me several hours to complete this, to video it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is do my magic loop. So please forgive me for the location, okay? So we're going to do the magic loop. So I have the 2 strands over my finger. I have my yarn over 2 fingers, okay? Then I'm going to pull it back up and make a loop. I got my finger, my thumb on the pinched loop, and I have to come over here and get my working yarn going. Then I give it back to myself and I make a chain 1 by going into the loop, the big loop, and pulling up a small loop. Now it says that we need to make 8 single crochets in this loop. Okay, so that was our chain 1. And I learned from the other items we made that I needed a stitch marker in that first stitch. So I have a stitch marker right here that I'm going to use. And I'm going to go in under the 2 strands there and create a single crochet. I'm going to put a stitch marker in the first single crochet. So to make a single crochet again, you go inside the loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2 loops. Okay? We have to do it 8 times. In the loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2. In the loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2. And we have to make 8. So right now I have 4. And another reason that I moved over here is it is more comfortable, but the lighting is so much better for me. Okay? So please forgive me. But I've been making these and I need to be comfortable. 6, 7, and 8. Then it says to pull the magic loop tight. So the short string is what you use to pull the magic loop tight. Okay? And what we're going to do is we are not going to join in this pattern. We're just going to keep going round and round. The ornament is worked in continuous rounds. Do not join at the end of the round. Okay? Move the marker as work progresses. Working with stitch markers. The working of a crochet stitch. So that's what we're learning here. Okay, so we pulled it tight, and over here is our first stitch where the marker is. And see, it is easier to have a stitch marker in that first stitch because it's available. Okay, so we're going to go in that loop. In the first single crochet, we're in the first stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we should end up with a total of 16 stitches. Okay, so I did the first two, and I already lost my stitch marker, so I'll get another stitch marker. Let's reach in the bag. Okay, I got another stitch marker here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch marker in the first stitch, the first of the 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to do 2 more in every stitch. Okay guys, so we're in the first sorry, we're in the first single crochet, we're in the first stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we should end up with a total of 16 stitches. Okay, so I did the first 2, and I already lost my stitch marker, so I'll get another stitch marker. Let's reach in the bag. Okay, I got another stitch marker here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch marker in the first stitch, the first of the 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to do 2 more in every stitch. Okay, so one, and 2. So now I have 4. 5 and 6. So I'll meet you back when so now we're going to do an increase in row 3. So that's, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 in the next. So 1 single, 2 singles, and then we're going to come up with a total of 24 single crochets. Okay, so I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and in the first single I'm going to do 1 single crochet. I'm going to mark that stitch again, and in the next stitch I'm going to do 2. 1 and 2, and 1 in the next stitch, and 2 in the next stitch. One single, 2 singles. Okay, so when I get done, I'm going to have 24 stitches, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I have 24 stitches, and we completed row 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull our magic loop tail, and I'm going to use a darning needle, and I'm going to stitch the bottom, I'm assuming, of our bell. Okay, so you just go around that first row of stitches, which it looks like I did it pretty tight, and insert your needle. I have to get a different darning needle. This one doesn't seem to have too big of a point. Let's see. let's give this one a try. And it's a little more pointy. Okay, so I'm going to go inside that top thickness. That's better. And let's anchor our magic loop so it doesn't come open when we stuff it. Okay. And I'm going to do it one more time. Another. Yeah, this needle really made a difference. And then I'm just going to come back one time. Okay, and so then I'm going to snip it off close. So I have my brand new scissors that I got in one of my Advent things. I'm going to snip it off. Okay. And then there we are. We have the bottom of our bell. Okay, so now let's see what row 4 has in store for us. Okay, row 4. 1 single crochet in each of the next 3, and then 2 single crochets in the next. Okay, so I'm going to remove the stitch marker and do 1 single crochet. And put the stitch marker back. Okay. And then I have to do 2 more stitches. So a total of 3. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2. Okay. And in the next stitch, we're going to do, let's see, did I get 2 in there? I did. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. And in the 4th stitch there, we're going to do 2. 1, 2. We're going to do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do 2 in the next one. And we're going to do that all the way around, and when we get done, we should have 30 single crochets. Okay, I have 30 single crochets. Now for row 5, we're going to be working in the back loop and do a single crochet in the back loop. So you have, when you've been single crocheting, you've been having 2 loops on your hook. Now we're just going to have 1 loop, and it's going to be the one towards the back. So let's mark that stitch, and the back loop, single crochet, back loop, single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way around. And again, when you get finished, you should have 30 stitches. So I'm going to meet you back. Okay, I'm done with row 5, and I went in the back loop. And I still have 30 stitches. Now row 6 is the same as row 5. So go in the back loop of these stitches, go all the way around, and when you get done, you should still have 30 stitches. See you in a minute. Okay, I completed row 6. And we're going to start row 7. I have 30 stitches. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a decrease row. we're going to single crochet in the first 4 stitches, then we're going to crochet 2 together, 4, then 2 together, 4 and 2 together. And when we get done going around, we should have 25 stitches. So I'll show you the crochet 2 together, and we are not going to work in the back loops now. We're going to be working in both loops. So there's the first single crochet. I'm going to mark it. And now we're going to do 3 more. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to crochet 2 together. To crochet 2 stitches together is a decrease. So we take and we insert our hook and pull up a loop. We insert our hook in the next stitch and pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, and we go through all 3 loops. So what that did was it made 2 stitches into 1. So we're going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 together. Insert your hook, pull up a loop. Insert your hook, pull up a loop. 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3 loops. So we're going to continue that all the way around, and count your stitches. When you're finished with row 7, you should have 25 stitches. Okay, I have 25 stitches and I'm done with row 7. Row 8, we're going to do similar. We're going to do 3 single crochets, and then in the next stitch you're going to single crochet 2 together. So 3 stitches and then 2 together, and we're going to keep doing that until we're finished with the row. And when you're finished with row 8, you should have 20 single crochets. Okay, I'm done with row 8 and I have 20 stitches. And if you take a look at your little bell, it looks like a little basket. It's going up. So when we did those 2 rows of in the back loop, it changed it, the shape of it, and made it come up. And now we're tapering in. So on rows 9, 10, and 11, you're going to single crochet in every stitch. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us this part of the bell, because we're kind of like right here. And it will give us the bell, and we will finish after round 11 and still have 20 stitches. And then I will meet you back. So 3 rows of just single crochets, 9, 10, and 11. And I'll meet you back. Okay, I finished row 11, and the next row says that we should do 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 single crochets, and then 2 single crochet 2 together. So then 3 singles and then 2 together, 3 singles, 2 together, and at the end of round 12 you should have 16 stitches. So I'll meet you back. Okay, so now we're ready for round 13, and that's where we do a single crochet all the way around. So there'll be a total of 16 stitches. Okay, so I finished row 13 and I have 16 single crochets, and it wants us to go ahead and stuff it. So I'm going to get my stuffing. And let's put some stuffing in here. So I have the green and the black yarn. And then I have the hanger. So we're going to put some stuffing in our bell. So we'll put some down inside. So I'll meet you back when I get it stuffed. Okay, so I didn't put all the stuffing in. I think I'm going to stuff it a little bit more as we go. Now, we're on row 14. And what they want us to do is do 2 single crochets 8 times. So then that would make us have 8 stitches because we had 16, or so we're going to go down to 8. So I got my working yarn, and so in the first and second stitches we're going to crochet those 2 together. So you pull up a loop, and pull through 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stitch marker in. Okay. And then in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 3. And then pull up a loop, and pull through 3. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around here, and then we're going to get back to row 15, which is the final row on the bell. Okay, so now I have 8 stitches left. I put a little bit more stuffing into the bell, and now we're on row 15. Row 15 says to single crochet together 4 times. Fasten off, leaving a long tail. And then we're going to use the tail to go through the tops of the stitches and pull it together. Okay, so I'm going to undo my stitch marker, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do pull through the next one, and I'm going to do pull through all 3. So that's 1, the next one, and the next one. Pull through all 3. Try to untangle a little bit. Then go to the next one, pull up a loop, and the next one, pull up a loop, and pull through 3. And now our final 2. So pull up a loop and pull up a loop, pull through all 3. So there we go. We did it 4 times. So I'm just going to go into the first stitch and do a slip stitch. Okay. And I think I stuffed my bell pretty good. I'm going to go ahead, it says to cut the yarn and leave a long tail. And then I'm just going to give this a little pull up this way. Okay. And then it says you can take your darning needle, weave through tops of stitches in last round, and pull tight to close. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're just going to kind of go through these stitches right here and through here. You can see the little stitches that we just did, and you can push your stuffing up a little bit and so that goes into the top. And so there you go. This part, I'm not sure. I don't think I can use it for I might be able to use it for the hanger. We'll have to see. But I'm just gonna, whoop, I put it up too high. So there is our bell. Now the next part of the thing says to do the hanging loop. So let's see how long this hanging loop is. I might have enough for my hanging loop. I do, because it says 5 inches, and this is longer than 5 inches. Okay, so it says to cut a hanging loop and fold it in half. And so there's my hanging loop, you guys. I didn't know I was doing that. So what I can do here is figure out a way to close this off. So I think what I'm going to do is tie a knot in this end. And then I'm going to loop it through some kind of way. So I'm going to take this and pull it through the top and tie it off. Okay, pull it through. Let's see if I can get it to go through. I did. And so then I'm going to take this part okay. So there's my loop, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to come right back and we're going to do the bow. Okay, guys, let's make our bow. So I have the green, and it says to chain 5. Okay, so let's make a tail or make a slip knot. There's my slip knot. And then we're going to chain 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then it says single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Okay, so there's the first one, there's the second one. So we're going to single crochet in the chain, so that's 1, and then 1 single crochet in the rest of the chains for a total of 4 stitches. Trying to get so I don't split the chain. Try it again. Oh. Okay, so there's 2. Keep splitting the yarn. 2, 3, and number 4. Okay. So I have 4 stitches. Now it says turn and chain 1. Okay. And then it says 1 single crochet in each stitch in the row. So then I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now it says chain 1 and turn 2 single crochets together twice. So I go in the first loop and pull up a loop. Then I go to the second chain, pull up second stitch and pull up a loop. Then I pull through all 3. Then I go to the next stitch, pull up a loop, go to the next stitch, pull up a loop, and go through all 3 loops. Then it says to turn and chain 1. Single crochet in each stitch to the end of the row, which is only 2 stitches. See, it looks like a bow. See, there's the bow part, and then there's the center. Okay, chain 1 and turn, single crochet to the end of the row. So that's 2. 1, 2. No, wait a minute, I made a mistake. One, 2. Turn it and chain 1. Nope. Wait a minute. Oh, 2 single crochets in each one. Okay, let's pull that out. Okay. So we had in row 5, we had 2 stitches. Okay. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do 2 singles in each one of these. So there's 1 and 2. And in the next stitch, 1 and 2. So now we have 4 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Now, row 7 to 11, we're going to single crochet to the end of the row, which is 4 stitches every row. Okay, so this is row 7. So I don't want to lose count. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was row 7. Row 8. Row 9. Row 10. and this is row 11. Okay, now it says to turn our work and chain 1. Repeat row 4. So row 4 is single crochet 2 together twice. Okay, insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. So I did row 4. Then it says to do row 5. Chain 1 and turn. Row 5 is 2 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. Row 6 is 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that brings us back to 4 stitches. Then it says to do row 7, which is chain 1 and do 4 single crochets. 2, 3, 4. Then it says to do row 8, and row 8 is to chain 1, turn, and do 4 single crochets. Now I hope I didn't go too fast for you guys, because you can always rewind the video. Okay, I'm trying to get in this last one. Okay, I did that part. Now what does it say? Do not fasten off. Fold the bow in half. Okay. And see, there we go. We folded it in half. And you can see where we did those decreases in the center. Fold the bow in half so starting chains meet last row. Okay. Working through both thicknesses, work 4 slip stitches. Okay. So let me see here. Work 4 slip stitches. All right. So I'm going to go like this. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is if I go back in there, so you put it in the first stitch, and then you insert your hook on the other side. Okay, so here's where we began, and that little hole is that stitch, and you go through both thicknesses and both loops. You pull up a loop, and then you pull through the first loop. Okay, so it's not a stitch, it's a slip stitch. So you go into the next stitch, you got 2 loops, then you put it through the 2 loops of the back part, pull the yarn through, and pull it through. Insert it under the 2 stitches of the next stitch, go in the back piece under those 2, pull up a loop, and pull it through. Insert it under the last stitch, and then insert it in the last stitch on the back, pull up a loop, and pull it through. Okay. Working through both, slip stitch evenly across and fasten off. So then what you do next is you cut your yarn and slip it to close it and pull it tight. So you got, this is what you ended up with, okay? And it says fasten off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these 2 tails in, okay? And then I'm going to turn it inside out, okay? So I'm getting a needle here. And I'm going to sew this in. So just weave it in. Don't go through both thicknesses, just go through some top stitches and pull it through. And then I'm going to go back. So just weave it, the tail in, so that it won't be hanging out in your way. Okay? And then snip it off and do the other one. And if falling down. Okay, so this one is the one I clip off. And I'm going to do the second one. Because I don't want these tails flopping around. What I'm trying to do, the bow band is what we're doing next. Okay, so I'm going to go through here and weave this through. And clip it off. Here's my scissors. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Okay, so then I think I'm going to turn this inside out. Like so. Okay, so I got that done. Now it says it wants a bow band. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this yarn and we are going to make a slip knot. And it says we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and slip stitch in each chain to the end of the chain. Okay, so we're going to skip the first one and we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So we go under the loop, we pull up a loop, and then we just go back through that first loop. So we have a loop on our hook, we go under a loop on the chain, pull up a loop. Then you just go through the first loop. So you have a loop on your hook, go under a loop, pull up a loop, and then just pull it through the first loop. And you do that again. Okay. Okay. And then what does it say? It says you wrap the chain around the center bow and join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Okay. Looks a little fiddly to me. So you got your bow. We're going to lay this over here. We're going to take this last stitch, turn the bow over, and slip stitch into this first stitch. You guys got that? Okay, so we've got our little thing here. We're going to lay it on the front of the bow. We're going to make a big loop on our hook, go behind the bow, find this first stitch here, and slip stitch into it. So I think what I'm going to do is make that stitch more prominent so I can get my hook into it. There it is right there. So I'm just going to kind of go like this a little so that the stitch is a little bit more seeable. Okay, so I got it up here. I'm going to come around the back, and there's that stitch that I just made bigger. I'm going to come in there. I'm going to tighten my loop a little. I'm going to pull up. There we go. Here's my working yarn back here. I'm going to pull up a loop, pull it through that stitch. Come on. It's a little tedious. And the yarn is splitting because I'm going to start over. Okay, so I got that stitch right there. Okay, then I'm going to slip my yarn there. I have my working yarn right here. I'm going to pull those two together. I'm going to pull a piece of yarn through those two loops, and see, I got it. And so now I'm going to take that last loop and put it in, And then there I have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and it wants you to fasten off and leave a long tail. Okay, so I'm going to leave a long tail, and everything goes falling. Okay, so I left a long tail. There's my stitch. So I'm going to go in that stitch, pull the loop, and I'm going to pull this through. Okay, there we go. So there's our bow. Hopefully you guys can see it. And then I have these two tails that I can bring around the back. Okay. And fasten off, leaving a long tail. Using long tail, sew bow to top of belt as shown. And there's a picture right there. So the top of the belt as shown, which is right there. Okay, guys? So, I think what I'm going to do is just sew it on and meet you guys back. Okay, guys, so here's my bow, and I decided to kind of pull it down in the center to kind of give it a little look. And I think it came out pretty cute. Came out pretty cute. You know how it is when you try to hang it. So we have to put the face on it. And they gave us some black yarn to put a face on it. So let's read about the face. Split the black yarn into 2 plies and embroider the face on the bell using straight stitches and French knots. So I have the pattern here, and if you take a look at the picture, it'll show you at what point you should put your face on. So I hope you guys enjoyed making this. I will link the pattern below the video, and I look forward to seeing you on day 7 to see what goodies we got for Advent. Love you guys. Bye.